The Washington Post had a blockbuster report about Secretary of War Pete Hegseth allegedly committing a war crime, or did it? Hey everyone, I'm Rich Lowry of National Review, and let's take a look at this Washington Post story that's caused such a furor in Washington, D.C. and in our political debate. Starts very cinematically. It's about this first strike on a Venezuelan drug boat on September 2nd. Says it had been tracked for a long time. Finally, military intelligence concludes, yes, this is a drug boat, and it is hit in keeping with an order from Pete Hegseth to kill everyone on board. There's a fiery wreckage. Then, to everyone's shock, they realize there are survivors clinging to this boat, and they are blown to smithereens as well, in keeping with Pete Hegseth's order. Everything in this story is meant to suggest that Pete Hegseth is a modern-day version of the famous Colonel Kilgore from Apocalypse Now.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. You know, one time we had a hail bomb? For 12 hours, when it was all over, I walked up. We didn't find one of them, not one stinking dink body. The smell, you know, that gasoline smell. The whole hill. It smelled like victory.
Now, Hegseth says he didn't see the second strike. He didn't give an order for a second strike. He was not even in the room.
Hegseth said he only saw the first strike.
A couple of hours later, I learned that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do, and by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat.
Again, the story opens with the U.S. surveilling this drug boat, makes a determination it's a target, and Hegseth, according to the story, gave a spoken directive, according to two people, anonymous, with direct knowledge of the operation. Quote, the order was to kill everybody, end quote, one of them said. We don't know what exactly Hegseth said in his own words or what the written order was underlying all this. Then, according to the story, the missile hits the boat. It's devastated. And then U.S. personnel are shocked to realize there are two survivors. And the story goes on to say that the Special Operations Commander overseeing the strike ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth instructions. Two people familiar with the matter said. So the Post story that started this whole thing doesn't say that Hegseth was in the room during the second strike, doesn't say that Hegseth was aware that there were survivors, doesn't say that Hegseth explicitly ordered the second strike. The New York Times, of all places, followed up the Washington Post story with more careful reporting of its own. The Times cites 5 sources for the proposition that Hegseth, ahead of this attack, ordered a strike that would kill the people on the boat and destroy the vessel and its purported cargo of drugs. But each official said Hegseth's directive did not specifically address what should happen if a first missile turned out not to fully accomplish all of those things. Oh, good to know. Furthermore, the official said his order was not a response to surveillance footage showing that at least 2 people on the boat survived the first blast. And as the operation unfolded, they said Mr. Hegseth did not give any further orders to the commander. Also, very good to know. Then the Times delivers the coup de grace. The Times cites 2 officials who said that Hegseth made no oral directive at the meeting that went beyond the written order. And this, which is really the dagger, the Post article did not provide context on when Mr. Hegseth gave what its sources described as a spoken order to kill everyone. In other words, the Post effed it up because, among other reasons, it didn't tell us where Hegseth was when supposedly this order was followed to kill all survivors. Now, it's very easy to imagine that Hegseth gave the order for a devastating missile attack on this boat that's going to destroy the boat and presumably is going to kill everyone on board, an order for a lethal kinetic attack. We've heard Hegseth use those words over and over again, and that's heard by a hostile ear or repeated to hostile people, and it's made into he ordered that everyone should be killed even if there were survivors. But the weight of the reporting and the evidence as it exists at this moment suggests that, yes, Hegseth's story is credible. He was there for the initial strike. He left. He didn't have any idea that there was a second strike and did not order any survivors killed. Now, look, I'm not a fan of these attacks at all. I don't think drug runners are enemy combatants. I think these boats should be interdicted. People should be detained that are on them. The cargo should be seized and the boats should be blown up in that order. But if you're the Washington Post and you're going to drive this national drama, it is incumbent on you to do good journalism and get it right. And the suggestion here is that this is either, in the best case, incompetent reporting or malicious reporting. And if history is any guide, probably some of both. I'm Rich Lowry, over and out.